The underwater kingdom.
The great white shark was regarded as the terror of the sea, even before Steven Spielberg's screen shocker. The great white shark, whose body measures 6 or 7 meters in length, is certainly the most dangerous of all the sharks, but it is not the largest. Another shark is 3 times as long as the great white and is the biggest fish in the world. The whale shark. Despite their enormous size, the world's largest sharks are harmless plankton eaters, gentle giants of the ocean. In this program, a wildlife filmmaker dives off the western coast of Australia among whale sharks. Whale sharks are mysterious giants of the ocean. The world's biggest fish is also one of the rarest. The Austrian underwater pioneer Hans Haas was the first diver to find a whale shark in the open seas. This photo made him famous throughout the world.
Ja, das war ein glücklicher Zufall. Das war 1950 und wir wollten Mantas.
Yes, that was a happy coincidence. It was in 1950 when we wanted to film manta rays. We sailed out of Suakin very early in the morning. There were 4 or 5 of us on board. Lotte, my later wife, then Gary Weidler, Xenophon and Mahmoud, our bosun. The sea was as flat as a pancake, and it was very early. The sun had just risen. It was a wonderful sight. You could not see the horizon. The sea disappeared into the sky, where at one point we saw a lot of birds circling around. So we headed in that direction, thinking perhaps there are mantas there. We came closer, but when we got to the spot, there was nothing there, and the birds had moved on elsewhere. We cruised back and forth. Suddenly, Mahmoud pointed astern, where an enormous triangle had broken the surface. It looked like the fin of a shark, but it was much too large for this. I assumed it was a piece of wood, but I could not help wondering where it had come from. Then we saw this triangle moving steadily over the surface, and we approached. About 100 meters away, we stopped our engine. On my own to begin with, I got into the water wearing flippers with the camera. I had to swim quite a distance. It was about 500 meters deep there, with open water all around. Above the surface I saw the fin, but below the surface I still could see nothing. I did not know what it was. I swam up closer and closer on my own. Suddenly the veil lifted and I saw an enormous body, about 8 meters long, as bright and colorful as a bed of flowers and covered with white spots. It swam very slowly past, just under the surface. I knew right away what it was, a whale shark, the largest shark in the world. I was naturally extremely excited and wanted to film it with my camera, but the film jammed. So, back to the ship to put in a fresh film and so on. Then Gary Weidler came along and Lotte too, and we all swam along with the shark. I hung on fast to the tail fin and was dragged gradually 3 meters back and forth. The shark didn't like this, though. I did not want to alarm him, and so I let go. That was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Aber das war eines der größten Erlebnisse meines Lebens. Ja, also
The underwater diver and filmmaker Erik Prohl picks up a few tips from Hans Haas. He's on his way to Australia to join an expedition doing research into whale sharks. In more than 50 years of research, Haas encountered these giants just 3 times. Prohl, in 25 years of diving experience, has so far had such an encounter only once. He will need a great deal of luck if he is to shoot a film about whale sharks. The first destination is New Guinea. Prohl intends to stop over here for a while, because he has heard of whale shark sightings in the region. The boat is waiting off Alotau, a small fishing village in the southeast of Papua New Guinea. He is welcomed warmly by the local people and presented with a large Triton's horn and a nautilus shell. Fruit and vegetables can be bought. Then the journey is continued to the offshore reefs, where Prohl prepares the camera equipment for the first underwater excursion. His crew takes him to a spot where the reef creates a unique natural spectacle. The sea bubbles where boiling sulfurous water escapes from the volcanic ocean bed. Branching corals spread out enormous fans. Sea lilies and gorgonians filter their food from the plankton-rich current. Prohl decides to dive deeper and discovers the wreckage of an aircraft 60 meters down on the ocean bed. It is a Second World War bomber. Then he climbs over banks of laminar corals to get back to the surface. There is a much greater chance of encountering a whale shark in shallow water, where the currents are warm and rich with plankton. A manta floats smoothly over the reef. With fins measuring 7 meters across, it is the largest ray in the ocean. Rays are closely related to sharks, and just like the whale sharks, they feed mainly on plankton. Prohl decides to wait a while before surfacing. Where there are mantas, a whale shark might show up at any moment. And then it suddenly appears. A whale shark emerges out of the dark blue and swims along the reef in search of food. For Erik Prohl, the wait was worth it. But his second encounter with the world's largest fish only lasts a short while. After barely 1 minute, the giant creature disappears back into the depths. Prohl's encounter with the whale shark took place just below the surface of the sea, and a fisherman who accompanied the diving vessel in his dugout canoe paddles back to tell the village that Ikan Paws, the great fish, has turned up again. For Erik Prohl, it is time to leave these people. He gives the village children fish hooks which he has brought from home. In 2 days' time, he has to join up with the other expedition members.
The whale the world fell in love with is back with his whole family.
It's Willy!
Get ready for more fun.
They're coming after us!
More excitement and more adventure than you've had all summer.
Jesse!
Free Willy 2.
I'd like to show you what makes this special edition Citroen ZX so special. Program rear wheel steering. Now this system allows the rear wheels to steer slightly in the same direction as the front wheels. So when a lateral force is applied, the subframe here can pivot around one mounting. So there you have it, the reason the ZX takes bends so well. Oh yeah, did I show you the hydraulic dampers with asymmetric settings? Oh!
The Citroen ZX Elation, now at the special price of £9,995.
B is for body. Strong. Supple. I is for iron. V for vitamins. No cereal is richer. L, low in fat. T is for taste. Delicious wheat, rice, and malt. K is for breakfast. Kellogg Special K.
Hey, listen, Colgate Total keeps on protecting you, even after you finish brushing. Colgate Total's antibacterial protection helps fight against plaque and cavities while you're working, and even against tartar and gum problems while you're enjoying yourself. Colgate Total, brushing that works between brushings.
Wherever pain strikes, Nurofen knows how to release you fast and effectively. Nurofen breaks through pain.
Where are you going? It's starting soon.
To do the dishes.
Oh, no, it needs a longer soak.
With an ordinary concentrated liquid, a short soak isn't always enough on tough items, so chances are you'll have to go back.
Where are you going now?
To finish it.
But let's see what a difference Fairy makes.
Where are you going? It's starting soon.
To do the dishes.
Just a short soak with Fairy can loosen even the toughest cooked-on food, so you usually get it all done in one go.
Anything I can do, love?
Yes.
Fairy gets the job done in one.
For hundreds of thousands of years, it has been man's most basic instinct to protect. And no other insurance company protects more of the things that are important to you than Norwich Union. Norwich Union. No one protects more.
All next week at 10, Discovery stalks some of the world's most spectacular predators and examines how these apparently similar animals use their very different strengths and weaknesses to ultimately achieve the same goal. Gain a greater understanding of big cats in fangs next week at 10 on Discovery.
West Australia, a sprawling, unspoilt stretch of country. Along the coast, curious weathered rocks reach up out of the sand. Lizards are more numerous here than people. This is a blue-tongued skink. It is the beginning of April. The Nordon has just come into Exmouth Bay to pick up the expedition participants. Apart from Prohl himself, there are divers and marine biologists from Sydney and Adelaide. In April 1988, the fisherman George King, skipper of the Nordon, saw a whale shark close to the surface of the ocean. He told the shark expert Rodney Fox about his discovery, and together they found more whale sharks. But in May, the animals disappeared. They didn't show up again until the following March. Ever since then, each March and April, whale sharks have been spotted almost every day on the Ningaloo Reef. In order to get a bird's-eye view of the reef, Eric Prohl decides to take off in a search plane. On the northwest Cape of Australia, the Ningaloo Reef stretches for 250 kilometers along the coast. Below the plane, the Nordon sails in the deep waters of the outer reef.
Just one last question. The water off...
To help look for the sharks, the ship stays in radio contact with the search plane. Rodney Fox invited Eric to join the expedition. Fox and Prohl are long-standing friends who have cooperated in the past in shooting films about white sharks. The reef is examined in detail in the shallow 20-meter depths. And then again in the high seas, which are more than 1,000 meters deep.
I'll try and go inside him if I can and see him out of the wet.
Excitement on the radio. Prohl has spotted a bright patch on the surface, a young whale shark. However, it soon dives down again. A small boat has been unloaded from the Land Rover into the water. Having spotted a whale shark, Eric wants to get on board the Nordon as quickly as possible. The search plane touches down briefly to let him off. On the Nordon, hurried preparations have already begun. The compressed air bottles are checked so that diving can start at a moment's notice if another whale shark appears. Meanwhile, Prohl comes on board and gets ready, although he cannot really believe that he will spot a whale shark under the water on his very first day. He checks the heavy 30-kilogram camera. Suddenly, the pilot of the search plane reports the sighting of the whale shark, 6 kilometers to the north.
Is that correct? Back to you.
Tension mounts on the Nordon.
Roger, mate. It's what would you say? It's clear there, or is it, what's the visibility like?
Visibility's pretty reasonable today, considering it's very close to the reef. A little bit of a break there. Pretty close to a big blue hole there, George, mate.
Yeah, roger, mate.
The shark can be seen clearly from the air. The Nordon approaches 100 meters away from it. 1,000 meters over the seabed, the divers glide through a veil of air bubbles into the blue expanse. A translucent jellyfish floats past. Then suddenly the shark appears, 12 meters in length and between 10 and 15 tons in weight. A medium-sized whale shark. The largest ones reach a length of 18 meters. The grey upper side of the body is covered with white dots and lines. The underside is white, a natural camouflage which many fish that move near the surface of the water have in order to merge with their surroundings. shark's enormous mouth measures 2 meters across. And the tail fin is 4 meters high. It has nothing in common with whales, whose tail fins are not vertical like those of sharks. Only its size and similar feeding habits have given it a name related to the marine mammals. Like the baleen whales, the world's largest fish feeds mainly on small plankton crustaceans, krill. The shark appears to be totally unimpressed by the divers. They can swim right up to the giant animal. Although the shark moves evenly and calmly through the water, it moves so quickly that the divers can't keep up for long. Finally, it disappears into the deep, and the men return to their ship. Meanwhile, the pilot has resumed his search and reports sighting another whale shark only a few kilometers away. Once again, George King steers the ship to within about 100 meters of the shark and stops the engines so as not to drive the animal away. Then the divers start work.
Are you ready? Port side, get ready. Up we go.
With the mouth wide open, the whale shark approaches the camera head-on. Despite the enormous difference in size between the divers and the fish, the shark moves off to the side. In front of the open jaws, small pilot fish swim around. If danger approaches, they slip into the shark's mouth without being eaten up. Companion fish attach themselves to the belly and get a free ride. The shark's regular appearance on the Ningaloo Reef in March and April gives the marine biologists a unique chance to learn more about these mysterious and rare giants. To this day, science hardly knows anything about this largest of all sharks. Tries to hold onto the dorsal fin so as to be pulled along by the shark. But then suddenly the bulky body begins to move and the shark shakes the diver off. Whale sharks can be found around the world in water ranging from 30 degrees north of the equator to 35 degrees south. Sometimes they move further to the north with warm currents like the Gulf Stream. Whale sharks only come to the surface when there is a lot of food about. They probably live at depths of between 500 and 1,000 meters. And this whale shark has decided that it's time to dive back down into the dark blue depths. On board the Nordon, Captain King is getting ready for a small party with his crew. The day has been more successful than any of the expedition members had dared to dream. And that is something to celebrate.
Oh, here comes Sylvia with the lunch.
Lunch? Fantastic.
What have you got here, Rodney? Oh.
This is this little salad that I just knocked up. Did you knock up the salad?
Those witchetty grubs are nice, I tell you.
Good cooking, Sylvie.
At last, some time to relax. The strains of the last two diving operations are beginning to tell. Early next morning, they have to return to the coast in order to take on fresh water. The Nordon ties up at the jetty of an army base. Eric takes the opportunity to dive under the pier. It is a huge steel construction, built up 18 meters from the seabed and already covered by all sorts of marine life. An artificial reef which provides protection, housing and food for the sea creatures. A chickenfish struggles against the strong current. And whole schools of fish take refuge from the hungry sharks. Even a swarm of mackerels is retreated here. Corals and sponges cluster together on the traverses, and butterfly fish which live in pairs scurry around. A moray defends its territory. And lying in wait on the seabed is a wobbegong, a strange-looking shark. A grey nurse shark, usually a harmless animal, which lurks in the reef cavities. But this species causes 90% of all shark injuries in Australia. If it is provoked, the grey nurse shark will bite. A sea snake searches for food in between the corals. It is highly poisonous, and few divers survive being bitten by it. Luckily, though, it is not aggressive. And a school of coral catfish plows through the sand in search of something edible. Once again, the Nordon sets out to sea, heading for Ningaloo Reef and the whale sharks. The sea is calm. Again, the crew is lucky. After only a short journey, they spot the first whale shark. In earlier expeditions, the marine biologists learned to identify the individual sharks by the markings behind their 5 gill slits and on their head. This is the whale shark's fingerprint. Based on their observations, the scientists believe that about 200 whale sharks visit the Ningaloo Reef every year. Eric Prohl chooses a more obvious identifying feature. He has dubbed this whale shark Crooked Fin. Another one he calls Cut Fin. Apparently its tail got caught in a ship's propeller. Its mouth is at the front of the snout, not underneath it like most other sharks. It could easily swallow 2 human beings at a time, but they would not stay in its belly for long. Whale sharks, like many of their shark relatives, can turn their stomachs inside out in order to expel objects that are too large to cope with. The tiny eyes are located just behind the mouth. The whale shark closes them when divers approach too closely. But virtually all the whale shark experts have gained the impression that the gentle monsters are just as interested in the divers as they are in them. Like all sharks, the whale shark has no bones. A cartilage skeleton supports the muscles, and long cartilage struts give the fish its streamlined design. Its skin is covered with tiny teeth called placoidal scales, which give it a rough surface. All but one of the sharks encountered by Eric during his expedition were males. The sex of the whale sharks is shown by the ventral fins, which transform into mating organs. Whole swarms of companion fish accompany the giant animal. These perch have transformed their dorsal fins into suction caps, which they attach to the whale shark's belly so they can get a free ride through the sea. If the water is rich in plankton, the shark opens its huge mouth. Thousands of liters of water flow through the gullet in no time at all. And although there are more than 300 rows of teeth, each containing over 1,000 small incisors, these teeth are useless. Instead, the shark filters the krill and baby fish from the water through sieve-like grids of cartilage, which are inside the gill slits. A whale shark consumes about 300 kilograms of food every week. Just how the shark finds the swarms of krill has never been explained. Like all sharks, it probably possesses a sixth sense, an electromagnetic system that can receive tiny electrical charges produced by all animals. And as if using a sonar antenna, it can identify where its small prey lies. Another thing marine biologists have yet to learn about the whale sharks is exactly how they reproduce. Most types of shark bear living young. In 1953, a dead whale shark embryo was found encased in an egg capsule. This led scientists to suppose that young whale sharks emerge from eggs like small cat sharks. But now researchers tend to believe that the find was a miscarriage and that whale sharks also bear living young. Why do these rare ocean giants appear so regularly on Ningaloo Reef? And why only from March to April? Off the coast of Western Australia, cold, nutrient-rich water from the Ulay stream mixes with warmer, plankton-loaded water from the Pacific. The entire reef exists because of this combination. Along the western coasts of all other continents, cold, polar sea currents pass by and prevent the growth of corals. Warm water, made up of a soup of suspended particles, is full of the food that both whale sharks and the tiny polyps of these Gorgonian corals feed on. But there is also another phenomenon which makes the reef a paradise for the giant animals and attracts them: the coral blossom. Every March and April after the full moon, the corals release a myriad of eggs and sperm into the sea. This explosion feeds the plankton population and unleashes a massive growth surge, especially among the krill. 2 weeks after the coral blossom, the whale sharks arrive to harvest the krill. Krill from tropical waters are very small, only 2 centimeters long. They are 3 times smaller than their Antarctic relatives, on which the large baleen whales feed. For days on end, the coral blossom forms a red slime on the surface of the sea. Captain King records every encounter with whale sharks. There have been 200 of them during the past 3 years. As a result, great progress has been made in whale shark research on Ningaloo Reef. The echo sounder shows the passage between the coral banks in Shark Bay. The ship anchors in the shallows.
Okay, you ready? Port side. Get ready. Up we go.
In 1980, tickets for the Russian ballet were in great demand. But the ballet wasn't the main attraction. Making its Moscow debut was the smooth taste of Heineken Export. Heineken Export, the world's favorite import.
Nicole.
Papa?
Maman.
The Renault Clio. It's perfect for visiting dignitaries.
JVC did the impossible.
They've done the impossible.
He was determined to show the entire world.
Wait till they get a load of this.
And she would have a night she'd never forget.
We're completely surrounded.
JVC.
Impossible.
Presents a world first in television.
Incredible.
3D Phonic, the home cinema sound system with Dolby Pro Logic.
Impossible.
No external speakers and no cables.
Amazing.
3D Phonic from JVC.
Have a cool break. Have a new KitKat ice cream.
Palmolive 2-in-1 Shower and Cream combines gentle cleansers and moisturizers to leave your skin so irresistibly soft. You'll feel as if you've used a cream or lotion. Palmolive 2-in-1 Shower and Cream. The gentle touch.
That's what you need of a morning, Cheryl. A bowl of Kellogg's bran flakes and a run round the block.
What, in those?
For a step up to a healthier lifestyle, try Kellogg's bran flakes. They have more fibre than most cereals and a wheaty, tasty crunch.
Oh. How was your run, love?
Well, it had its ups and its downs.
Kellogg's bran flakes, a step in the right direction.
As time goes by, you notice skin losing firmness and fine lines appearing here on the surface. So what can we do? Clinical tests prove that a new cream from Oil of Ulay can help. Enriched with vitamin E and ceramides, it enhances the unique natural springs found at the surface of the skin to help restore the feeling of firmness and smooth away the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles in under 14 days. And the name? Wrinkle Smoothing Cream from Oil of Ulay.
If you've got a passion for motoring, whether it's the sheer speed of the McLaren F1, the brilliant new generation of 140-mile-an-hour super diesels, or the secrets behind Judge Dredd's sinister Last Car on Earth, watch Driving Passion.
Indulge yourself tomorrow at 8:30 on Discovery.
In the tidal areas of the Ningaloo Reef, there is a unique phenomenon to be observed. What look like quite ordinary stones are in fact stromatolites, lime extrusions from blue-green algae that constitute some of the oldest traces of life on Earth. This is what the coastal areas of our planet might have looked like 2 billion years ago. Rivulets of brackish water reach from the coast far into the interior of the country. While the others take a siesta, Eric follows their course and meets up with 2 heraldic animals of the continent. These are emus, the Australian relatives of the ostrich. And he also flushes a kangaroo. Back to the coast, to the deserted shell beaches. However, this beach seems to be filling up slowly. The screeching of the seagulls has attracted a pelican. It seems to be waiting for something just like this cormorant. The gulls fly anxiously up and down the coast. The reason for their excitement crawls out of the warm sand. Sea turtles have just hatched. Almost before they've seen the light of day, they must run for their lives. And the next danger is already waiting for the tiny turtles that do make it to the sea. Sharks have appeared off the coast, and they are not so keen on the krill diet favoured by their whale-sized relatives.
So the great white bit me around the chest and left lots of scars.
Meanwhile, Rodney Fox has joined up with Prol. His interest in sharks goes back to an encounter with a white shark that bit him in the chest, but Fox got off comparatively lightly. Doctors were able to stitch him up and send him home without any lasting damage.
Use of my arms at all, and I'm very strong now to be able to swim and dive, and I really enjoy my life diving in the sea and showing people all these incredible animals.
In Shark Bay, triangular fins ploughing through the sea are an everyday sight. But no one is afraid of them. Only specialists like Fox can tell the difference from a long way off between the dorsal fin of a shark and that of a very popular sea creature. Tame dolphins living in the wild are one of the attractions of the small bay. Ever since the 60s, they've been spoilt by fishermen with scraps of food. They wait patiently by the boats, and something always comes their way. That is why they've become so docile in the course of time. Eric only has to hold his camera in knee-deep water, and the dolphins swim right up to him. The final day of the expedition has arrived. Once more the search plane takes off. Once again the Nordon departs for Ningaloo Reef. In recent days it has become more difficult to locate any whale sharks. The coral blossom has ended. The sea is no longer as warm as in previous weeks. This time the men want to try and operate without the heavy diving equipment. They want to attempt trailing a whale shark using only snorkels. At long last, the pilot radios that a large shark has surfaced near the Nordon. The water is beautifully clear. Without heavy diving gear, it is an even greater experience to swim with this mighty creature through the water. It is not exactly easy to pursue the big fish with a 30-kilo movie camera and still make good steady shots while holding his breath and using his flippers. The divers soon noticed that the whale shark remains near the surface much longer if they only use snorkels, especially if only 1 or 2 divers are in the water. For an hour they swim along with the same animal without driving it away. Once again, the divers return to the Nordon. A rest is very welcome, because holding their breath for a long time is exhausting. Again, the divers seem to be having a lucky streak. They spot another whale shark from the boat. Hectic rushing is a thing of the past. There is enough time now to put a new film in the camera. Captain King points out where the shark is as they plunge into the water. Eric and his partner want to snorkel their way alongside this gentle giant one last time. Eric Prohl has had about 50 whale shark encounters during the past 3 weeks. Captain King has listed almost 300 sightings on Ningaloo Reef. Before the whale sharks were found on the reef, only 320 sightings were recorded in the past 150 years. However, at the end of April, the whale shark season is over. The giants disappear into the endless ocean spaces and dive to even greater depths. Just where they go and how deep, no one knows. But in 10 months' time, the world's largest fish will probably come back again when the coral blossoms on Ningaloo Reef in northwestern Australia, in the realm of the whale shark.
Continuing our Shark Week, divers from the Deep Probe expeditions study the fearful great white. That's coming up next.
In conjunction with Shark Week 95, Discovery has produced a free fact pack. Just send your name and address on a postcard to Shark Week Fact Pack, the Discovery Channel, P.O. Box 41, Ware, Hertfordshire, SG12 9EE. And remember, sharks are also available on CD-ROM at all good multimedia stockists.
Many sharks aren't dangerous. At 8 tomorrow, meet the man who's trying to break down our fears. The danger's real at 10 as we travel to San Francisco and the Red Triangle, an area renowned for great white attacks. Shark Week 95 continues tomorrow on Discovery.
Man was launched into space by the excesses of Cold War vanity. Today, space technology has had a positive impact on countless aspects of our lives, allowing us to achieve a truly global perspective. Travel to the next frontier, Monday at 8 on Discovery.
It looks like a great place.
Dive 1.5 miles to the ocean's bed, to a world more alien than the moon, where human survival depends on science's most ingenious technology and is rewarded with a glimpse into a mesmerizing and truly unique community. Explore the underwater volcanoes as Earth Tremors returns on Thursday, the 24th of August.
We're out of honey. Come on, Teddy, let's nip down to the shops.
Oh, blimey, a traffic warden. Hey, Vernon!
Come on, Teddy, another ticket would be too grisly. Will you get in?
All right, Vern, you're worse than a bear with a sore head, you are. Oh, this is nice.
Yes, it's a Renault 5 campus.
5-speed gearbox.
Yes, but, reverse is my favourite.
Oh, lovely stereo. Whoa!
Nippy, this 1.4 engine, isn't it?
Do you need any bare necessities, mate?
The Renault 5 campus. Only 5885 on the road.
New. Double action Mateen's mouth guard for sensitive teeth.
Now, that is a relief.
As time goes by, you notice skin losing firmness and fine lines appearing here on the surface. So what can we do? Clinical tests prove that a new cream from Oil of Ulay can help. Enriched with vitamin E and ceramides, it enhances the unique natural springs found at the surface of the skin to help restore the feeling of firmness and smooth away the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles in under 14 days. And the name? Wrinkle Smoothing Cream from Oil of Ulay.
You get through a lot of shoes when you keep Dalmatians. You walk miles. They need a lot of exercise. So I feed my dogs the best, and the best for me is Pedigree Charm.
At Pedigree, we understand a dog's needs in the same way as vets and animal nutritionists do. And thanks to our experts at Waltham, the world's leading authority on pet care and nutrition, Every can of Pedigree Chum has the essential nutrients a dog needs, plus solid meaty nourishment.
They love it, don't you, Piper? Well, they keep me fit, so it's the least I can do for them.
Pedigree Chum. Top breeders recommend it.
The leading magazine for men, GQ, reviewed organics. Their verdict? For strong, healthy-looking hair from the roots, organics delivers.
Oh, must be time for Twin Peaks.
Oh!
My log saw something that night.
What did it see?
Ask it.
That log can't act.
Oh, terribly wouldn't, lovey.
Twin Peaks on Bravo.
Welcome to the new look Destination Discovery. We've added 8 extra pages to bring you more features, listings and Video Plus numbers for all Discovery programs. Destination Discovery takes an independent look at topics covered by Discovery's major programs to add to your enjoyment of the Discovery Channel. And we've also reduced the annual subscription to just £12. So phone 0990 11 55 44 and subscribe today.
If you'd like to know what's under the bonnet of a Ferrari F512M...
This is what people pay so much to hear.
If you've a penchant for Formula One or E-Type Jags, or even Judge Dredd's Last Car on Earth, you'd better keep tomorrow night at 8:30 free for Driving Passions.
Some are patient. Some experienced. Others skillful. Some use stealth. Others speed. But despite their different strategies, they all know what's needed for a successful hunt. Discovery highlights the techniques these super predators utilize to survive in their particular environments. Fangs, Monday to Friday next week at 10.
Divers fascinated by sharks take great risks to study the teeth of death in an hour. Now it's the time to look further into the life of the infamous great white shark.